Okay, so as you can see, I've got week 4 DGP, 925 to 929. Please make sure you head your paper that way. I've got Monday, and I've written my sentence during his brief interview with Mr. Fogg. Passepartout had been carefully observing him. So my sentence is written out. So I start with my help pages. Nouns. I need person, place, things, or ideas. An interview is a thing, and I'm pretty sure that should be lowercase because it doesn't need to be interviewed. I mean, capitalized. Mr. Fogg is obviously a person. Mr. is not an adjective describing Fogg. That's his name. So we treat it like one word, and I do some little dots here to show that I'm talking about both words. And since this is obviously a proper noun, it's a name, it's a capital N. Passepartout, well, that's another person. So that's a capital N. Had been carefully observing him. Okay, I'm done with my nouns. So now I go on to pronouns. I, you, he, she, it. I don't see any of those. We, you, they. Nope. Me, you, him, her, it. Him. Okay, so I'm going to go back to him is an objective pronoun. I check it's not anywhere else. So this is objective. I don't refer to myself as him. I don't talk to the person I'm talking to and call them him. So this is third person because it's the person I'm talking about. So third person objective. So then I go back to my list. Him, her, it. I didn't see any of those others. Us, you, them. No. My, your, his, her, its, mine, yours. His. That's there. So I look. His was a possessive pronoun. So it's possessive. His. That's not how I would call it if it were mine. Yours would be the person I was talking to. So that's third person. It's the person I'm talking about. It's mine, yours. Our, your, their. Ours, yours, theirs. You don't see that. Which, whose, what, whom, who. No. This, that, these, those. Each, either, neither, few, some, all, some of those. I don't see any of those. So I'm done with my pronouns. So now I go down to adjectives. I know it's going to talk about a noun or a pronoun, and I know it's going to answer which one, how many, or what kind. I also know that a, and the are always articles. So a, and the, I don't see any. Okay. Does anything tell me what kind of his, how many his, or which one of his? No. What kind of interview? It was a brief kind. That's an adjective. Which one of interview? Sort of his. If you could label that an adjective, don't feel bad, but we like to label a pronoun. How many interviews? No. What kind of Mr. Fogg? Which one of Mr. Fogg? How many Mr. Foggs? What kind of Passepartout? Which one of Passepartout? How many Mr. Passepartouts? Nope. What kind of him? How many him? Which one of him? Nope. So I'm done with adjectives. Now I'm moving on to adverbs. Tells how, when, where, or to what extent. How. How was he being observed? Carefully. That's an adverb. How, when. Well, it was during his brief interview, but since that's more than one word, I know it's not it's probably a prepositional phrase. So that's not an adverb. When, where, no, how, when, where, or to what extent. Nope, I'm done with adverbs. So I go on to prepositions. Now remember, frog and a log. I have my list here. When I get it, I'm going to check to make sure it has an object of the preposition before I label it prep. So I'm going to hold it over here, and I'm going to read it. Aboard, about, above, across, after, against, along, among, around, at, before, behind, below, beneath, beside, between, beyond, but, by, down, during. Oh, during. So during can be a preposition. During what? During the interview. So it does have a noun that goes with it, so it is a preposition. Okay, down, during, except for, from, in, inside, into, like, near, of, off, on, out, outside, over, past, since, through, throughout, to, toward, under, underneath, until, up, upon, with. With what? With Mr. Fogg. There is a noun that goes with it, so this is a preposition. I'm going to save us some time because I know none of those others are prepositions, so we're going to go on. Conjunctions. Fanboys. For, and, nor, but, or, yet, or so. Nope. Subordinate like because, although, I don't see any of those. Coordinate like not only but also, either or, I don't see any. I'm going to skip these pink ones because that's 8th grade and we're not doing that. Interjections, I know I don't have any. Verbs, I certainly hope so. So, observing, that's an action verb. I need to know the tense, but first, had and been. When I look at my list here, linking verbs are, or some of your main helping verbs are am, is, are, was, were, be, being, been, has, have, had. These are helping verbs. So I'm going to label both of them helping verb. Okay? Had been observing is what was going on. Mr. Passepartout had been observing him. Okay, so those are all, they're all one verb together. These are helping this one be the verb. Okay, so now I have to look at my tense. And since I have helping verbs, I know it's not going to be these simple ones. Present perfect says have or has. Had plus a past participle. So had observed would be present perfect, but I have had been. So let's look at the next page. Present progressive, past progressive, was or were, future progressive, nope. Past perfect progressive, had plus been plus a present participle. Had been jumping, had been observing. Same pattern. So that's a past perfect progressive. So the tense is past progressive. Okay, it means it's in the past tense, but it's going on in the past tense before a certain point in the past. It's a very difficult one, but now you have everything labeled and Monday is done.